Sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about sex a little bit, a little bit. There's so much to talk about when it comes to the topic of sex, to the point where it's just like, let's rather not talk about sex at all, right? That's how I always feel, at least. Like, it's such a intimate and private thing, right? It's so personal to you. And I really never understand people who go around talking about their sex life like, ooh, I like it from the back. Ooh, I like it from the front. Ooh, I like it from the top. Ooh, I like it from the bottom. We don't need to know all that information about you, baby. Only the people that get with you need to know that. You know what I mean? Hush, hush. And as much as so many people are talking about sex online, I do feel like they're not having the right conversations about sex, right? I think we all come from a point of like, we all know what we should be doing, what we shouldn't be doing. We all know to practice safe sex. But do we? Why are the AIDS numbers rising? What's going on? Like, huh? And sex is so important. We should be talking about it with our parents, with our friends. Yes, I said parents. We should be having that conversation with our parents. It's a big part of how you got here. Oh, for those who still think they came via airplane, well, I've got news for you. So I asked a few of my friends, people close to me, nearest and dearest, um, to share a few things about sex. And I'll be sharing some of their thoughts on this video. So stay tuned. And just to be clear, I'm not a sex therapist or a sex guru. So I'm just as clueless and blank as you guys are. But I will say this, as someone who is currently celibate, it'll be 3 years in October. Sex isn't something that you should be giving away so freely to everyone that you are in a romantic relationship with, even. I don't think everyone needs to see that side of you, no matter how much you love them. It's an exchange of energy. And I know already there's some people going, oh boy, here she goes, telling us about spiritual connections and so forth. But it's true, guys. Sex is so powerful. It brings you, it is the reason, in fact, that you are on earth. That's how powerful this thing is. It creates new life. New life that is instilled with purpose by spirit beyond this realm. So, yeah, sex is a pretty serious thing. It is also meant to be enjoyed, right? Like, it's not just this thing that we're supposed to be fearful about or scared to talk about or scared to share a part of ourselves with someone else. It's supposed to be freeing, liberating. But I suppose it's all those things when you do it with the right person as well. Now, taking sex off the table when it comes to dating has been the best decision I've ever made. Firstly, so many men only come for sex. Like, the only reason they're at the table is because they're waiting for sex to be served at the table. So it really helps you suss out who's who and who's doing what and why are they here. You know? It helps you to quell the call with the qua, basically. It's also been very, very difficult at the very same time. Because sometimes it's like hard to explain why I made the decision that I made to someone who is of the opposite sex. Because most men are driven by their sexual organs. So when you're trying to explain to a guy, bah, sex is not on the table in this relationship in any way, like shape or form. It's not happening between us. This is a decision I made for myself. It's not even about you. They tend to take it personally. I don't know. It's not my problem. It then starts being this unsaid thing of like, only virgins are allowed to take sex off the table. And then I'm just like, does everyone have zero sexual discipline? I'll tell you some things that being celibate has taught me and helped me with. Sexual discipline. is for one, not lusting after everybody and everyone I see. Okay. That's the first thing. Secondly, I would say it's also helped me like want to have more deep and meaningful conversations with people that I'm actually going on dates with. Like, I don't want to just laugh and say, "Oh, you're so funny, you make me laugh. That's what I enjoyed about this date." No, I want us to have like deep conversations. I want to know how you feel about politics. I want to know how you feel about corruption, poverty, all of those things. I need to know actually if we're building anything at all here, even if it's a friendship. I need to know where you stand. Celibacy also gave me my power back. Oh, I am the powerful one in this setting. Thank you. And ladies, if you know, you know. I know there are those people who are probably going, but I can't just stay without sex. I can't like stay 3 years without having sex. I can't do that. See what I said about discipline? You lack discipline. You lack sexual discipline. Just take sex off the table. Take sex off the table even for your own self. Don't take sex off the table for the other person. Take it off the table for your own self. How about that? Now, of course, I'm very aware that anything can happen in this life. Like, I'm very aware that you could save yourself and meet an absolutely trashy person, and later down in the line, things might not work out. So, what was the point of saving yourself? The point of saving yourself was that you were saving yourself for yourself. That was the point, right? It doesn't matter if I end up after 3 years having sex with an extremely trashy person or an emotionally unstable person. All those things won't happen though. They won't, because I've learned so much and I'm a discerning person. But let's just say that they do. It wouldn't matter because of what celibacy has given me, what it has taught me about myself, who it's introduced me to, which is basically myself. So it's not about the other person. I was never doing it about the other person. I was never doing it so that the other person could be faithful or could not step out on me. I was doing it for myself. I was doing it for my own spiritual growth. I was doing it for my own spiritual sabbiness. I wasn't doing it for the other person. And I think that's the most important thing, to start doing things for yourself. Just do things for yourself. Like, enjoy your life for you. Don't enjoy your life for other people. Don't do things because other people want you to do them. A lot of people end up losing their virginity quite young because they think about the other person. Like, oh, if I don't sleep with him, he might find someone else. Or, oh, if I don't, like do this with him, then he's going to do it with someone else. Baby, let that man go and do something with someone else and restore and save your peace. If you don't want to do it, you don't want to do it, and you don't have to do it. There are so many men who are okay with women not doing it to them or not doing it with women until a certain point. So you don't have to entertain someone who doesn't respect your boundaries. And before you guys start acting like these people don't exist, they do exist. Many a times I have been in a relationship with a guy, and even just texting someone telling them that, oh, I'm on my period. So I can't even come and visit you, like just to see you. I'm not feeling that well. A person will sulk. How are you sulking over me having my period? I'm the one going through so much. Yet you are sulking because you couldn't get, the things that you thought you were going to get. So now you're upset. A man that gets upset at you, or a partner that gets upset at you because you don't want to give them your goods, is a partner that you actually don't want to be with for a very long time. Cut the cord, and cut it now. Sex is not the only form of physical intimacy that you can have with your partner. There are so many ways to be intimate with your partner, even ways that are actually deeper than sex. But I mean, we already know that one is the deepest one, because why? It creates life. Oh, by the way, I'm not just speaking to single people. I'm also speaking to married people. You guys also need to take sex off the table from time to time. You don't have to be sleeping with your husband every night. Now, I'm not saying don't, but I'm saying if you don't want to, you don't have to. And that's the beauty about sex. At any point in time, if you don't want to, you can stop or you can say stop, and that person should stop. That's the beauty about it. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. No one is forcing you to do something that you don't want to do. That is actually your power. And a lot of women tend to give away that power so easily, thinking that I have to, oh, but I have to. We tend to have the disease to please, even when it comes to sex as women. Like, oh, I really didn't want to, but I was just like, I was just there. There where? You weren't in it, ma'am. You weren't participating because you weren't really interested. So you felt obliged. But now you can't communicate this with your partner because you're scared to lose him, because you're scared he's going to go and find someone else to do the things with. Like I said before, if someone wants to find someone else to do the things with, let them go find someone else to do the things with. Now, in the second part of this video, I'm going to be going over my friends' messages. So I asked my friends what advice they would give their younger selves with regards to sex. And trust me, you want to hear what they had to say. Now, I will say this. I've come to find that a lot of people have regrets around their first time when it comes to sex. A lot of people tend to feel like they should have waited a little longer. Maybe they shouldn't have had sex at the age that they should have had sex. Maybe it was too young. I haven't had a lot of people talk about they had sex too late. So I suppose there's no such thing as too late in the game. But I suppose there is such a thing as too early, too soon. Feeling like maybe you were rushed, per se. Or feeling like maybe the conversation needed to be a deeper conversation than of just like, hey, you want to do the things, let's do the things. You know what I mean? So there tends to be a lot of regret for some people. Not necessarily, I would say, with the person that they had sex with, but more so with the timing. And you kind of want to get the timing right when it comes to sex at any age, like with any partner. You kind of want to get the timing right. You don't want to do it too soon, because that might shake the Titanic. But you also, I don't know. Personally, I have no regrets. You know the song? No regrets. I try not to regret anything that I've ever done in life, because I am an overthinker. So I overthink a lot of things. For me to even just do one thing, I think like, okay, and then how is this going to be received? How's this? So I try to not have any regrets in life. But I will say that I do regret sometimes giving away my power so easily to men, without realizing the power and the control that I had in the situation. And I think that just came from a place of me always wanting to please others, me always wanting to sometimes keep people in my life, even though they really, like, they actually shouldn't have ever even been in my life to begin with. And just again, the disease to please, a lot of women, we do suffer from the disease to please, whether it's like doing too much when it comes to friendships, or doing too much when it comes to relationships, even family, like going over and above and beyond for people that to some extent wouldn't really like even try to shift a small bucket for you. Like, let's say there was a bucket in your way, they wouldn't even like try to shift it. They would just be like, oh, just walk around it, you'll find your way, you're smart. So for me, I needed to go through my celibacy journey. I needed this time to myself because I needed to like find strength in myself again, love myself again, appreciate myself again, wake up and just understand how great I am, how amazing I am, without having someone who is going to validate that. I think a lot of my life, I've spent my life wanting others to validate how awesome I am, how intelligent I am, how funny I am, or whatever the case was. And that came from my broken father wound with my father. Like, that came from the broken relationship with my father, the non existent relationship with my father, etc. And I carried that energy with me for a good, like, 27 years, right? Of just always stifling myself around others, always like not really saying what I really wanted to say and not really doing what I really wanted to do, and always putting other people's feelings before mine, even to my own detriment at times, where other people controlled the narrative of a particular thing, and I would let them because I just didn't want to be that girl who was confrontational, or I didn't want to be seen as I don't know, whatever, like a mean person. So I would bite my tongue on a lot of things. And that also taught those people to keep doing what they were doing because I wasn't checking them, right? And so those things, like, if I was being like that in my friendships and being like that with family members, then you can only imagine how I was in a relationship. Like, I would just give away my entire essence, basically, my entire being, to try to have someone stay, or to try to have someone, just to have someone who says they love me, just to have someone who wants to be around me, basically. And the past 3 years have just been so amazing because I had to love and learn to love the most important person in my life, which is myself. And my gosh, this is nonsense, Nina. See all these young people I've been dealing with, these boys. You see you, and by young I mean like, I'm not dealing with barbers. I'm not dealing with retirement age group. I'm dealing with my age group. So you see all you small boys. You have played me. You have played me. Congratulations to you. Congratulations to you guys. But like I said, I don't have any regrets. I don't regret any of my past relationships at all. Not at all. I learned so much from everyone that I've ever like been in a romantic relationship with. They've taught me so much because I always try to date people who can impart a lot onto me, like a lot of knowledge, a lot of whatever. Like I'm a sponge. I love to like just soak up so much information. So I love being around people who teach me things, who open my eyes to new forms of thinking and so forth. And I found that was also the case with like friendships. I was always the informed person and was low-key annoying at times because it's like, how do you not know this? And then I realized I was just chilling with people that weren't like-minded as me and weren't like catching on to things as I was catching on to them. And that means I was basically dumbing myself down or like diminishing myself to let other people shine or whatever the case is. And it's also one of the reasons I spend a lot of time by myself now because I don't have to deal with like jealousy and deal with like just someone feeling like, oh, you're a smart ass because you know something. And it's just like, but we have the same television. Like, you have TV, I have TV. You have DSTV, I have DSTV. You have SABC1, I have SABC1. You have YouTube, I have YouTube. Like, I just take the time to go and research stuff and read on them. Or like, I love watching documentaries. You know what I mean? So yeah, the past 3 years have been amazing for me because I literally became a hermit, and then I had to learn how to come out of being a hermit And I think I'm still there right now. I'm still at a point where I understand I'm great. I understand I'm amazing. And I understand that any man who would be with me is just lucky to be with me and to have me. But I'm still unlearning a lot that I sort of fed, all the lies that I fed to myself. I'm still unlearning some of those lies because I fed them to myself so much that I started believing that they were true. So, yeah. I would say that's what my celibacy journey has given me. So much strength, inner strength that is beyond understanding. And I didn't just wake up one day and just be like, okay, I'm starting to be celibate. It was a mountain of things that happened. I didn't go through like a horrendous breakup. No. I mean, I did go through a breakup, but like it wasn't like a oh. No, it was just a time in my life that I actually wanted to be alone in every sense. And I remember just being like, there is not a part of me that I want to share with anyone right now because I want to understand every part of me before I can even share it with anyone. I'm still en route, still learning, unlearning, trying to understand myself, but I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of the discipline that I instilled in myself. No one instilled it in me. I'm proud of the wisdom that, Source has imparted on me through this journey, but also some of the wisdom that I don't know, that comes from within, I guess. And I suppose one of the reasons I wanted to talk about sex was because I hate talking about sex. Like, I'm one of those people that gets so awkward, guys. Like, in a room, I'll be like, oh, why, like, why are you talking about sex? Ay, marajo, why? And I realized that it came from a place of possibly also shame. But that's something I'm going to touch on much further down in the line on this channel. But yeah, there was shame associated with sex, and other emotions that I associated it with. And I had to sit myself down, have those conversations with myself as well, and be like, also judgment. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I was very judgmental towards, not outright in saying it, but I was very judgmental at times towards other people's sexual escapades or whatever. Like, I'd always be like, oh wow, that girl's brave. Like, I'll say it inside, you know what I mean, or I'll say it at home when I get home, like, ooh. Like, ooh, okay, you're doing too much, honey, or like stuff like that. And I realized that I was being that way because I was scared to be sexually liberated and to be sexually free with someone. I was scared to lose myself in that way with someone. And so, because I always wanted it to be someone special, like I was just like, oh, guys, I don't know about this one. You just have 5 sexual partners and you're just interchanging. Da, da, da. And I'm still not that person. Like, I don't believe in having multiple sexual partners. I don't. I'm just not that person. But I'm learning to not judge people who do believe that. Like, we're all on a journey. We're all learning about ourselves. We're all unlearning about ourselves. And I suppose the first step for me into becoming, like, the first step to becoming more comfortable with the conversation of sex is to actually just have the conversation. And that's why I basically did this video. It was just so that we can just have the conversation once and for all and be done with it. I'm kidding. Because we're not done with it. There's going to be a part 2. Remember? But yeah, that's basically some of my thoughts on sex and a bit of my celibacy journey. And basically, to wrap up episode 1 of this, I would say a message that I would tell my younger self regarding sex would be, Wow, I actually didn't think about it. Like, I didn't write mine down, so that's why I'm like, okay, a message I would tell my younger self regarding sex. Take your time. Take your time. Do it when you're ready. Um, take your time and just first understand your body before you want someone else to understand it. First understand and appreciate your own body before anyone else be touching you. That would be something I would say. And then I would also say, like, don't be so hard on yourself. Like, just don't be so hard on yourself. Like, don't be so strict. Don't let it be a joyous thing. Don't let it be something that takes the joy out of you. I think that would be what I would say to my younger self. Would be that sex is something to be enjoyed by both parties. It is not something that is given to one party and something that is taken from another. It's an exchange. And I think my younger self needs to know, or rather, I would appreciate my younger self knowing that it is an exchange and you must enjoy that exchange as equally as the other person is enjoying that exchange. As much as the other person is enjoying that exchange. So yeah, that's episode 1, done and dusted. Catch you on episode 20.